Well, hello everybody. This is Max, and welcome to Fun with Guns. Today, I want to talk about why so many people, especially shooting enthusiasts, love the character Burt Gummer. Now, for those who are not initiated, an actor named Michael Gross was in a movie in 1990 called Tremors about these gigantic worm-like creatures that were subterranean, and they were feeding on the residents of this small middle-of-nowhere town in Nevada called Perfection. And Burt is essentially a survivalist, but he's a very well-funded one. He has a big, beautiful house with filtrated air, internal power, and a massive rec room full of every kind of firearm you can imagine. Every firearm owner's dream recreational room. In her first acting role, Reba McEntire played his wife. And her character was equal to Burt in being able to take care of herself with firearms. Now, the actual stars of the movie are Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon, who play a couple of local handymen who are desperately trying to get enough money to leave town. And long story made short, without giving away the movie, they and the rest of the townspeople wind up having to pull together to fight off these creatures when they make an attack on the town. And of course, Burt, being armed to the teeth, is who they all have to go to equip themselves with firearms. There's a scene in the movie, which I won't spoil, you can see it online, but I recommend you just go watch the whole movie, where one of these creatures breaks into Burt's rec room while he and his wife are there, and they shoot it out with him. And whoever did the gun wrangling for this movie knew their stuff, because they had Burt equipped with some really interesting firearms. Now, I don't know if the writers and directors were intentionally trying to make Burt a cartoonish cliche of some people's idea of a gun owner or a gun nut. Well, whatever it was, they wound up making the most iconic character of the movie. In fact, there have been 5 Tremors movies, and even rumor of a 6th one. And Michael Gross, who plays Burt Gummer, is the only common thread between all 6 movies, or at least 5 and potentially 6. He was, of course, a third banana in the first movie. Fred Ward was the only main actor to carry over to the second movie, so Burt became second banana, and by the third movie, he was the leading actor. Now, to understand Burt Gummer and why he is so popular is to understand more than just the gun community. You see, Burt is a guy who's ready to take action, willing to take action. Even though he's somewhat comedic, he is very intelligent, very resourceful, and actually very brave. What's wonderful about this is that Burt actually kind of is the hero of the movie, but they managed to make him this comically heroic character while still showing a lot of his flaws, such as being quite paranoid. Which, of course, in this movie, well, let's just say it's sort of justified, because the critters really are out to get him. Of course, Burt is very distrustful of the government, and he also has a very high level of personal independence. He's not going to let a few little laws stand in his way. Although he does seem to go out of his way to stay within the law. He doesn't want trouble with the government, probably largely because of his distrust. But Michael Gross did a wonderful job of making him a slightly irascible yet still lovable character. You can't not laugh at him. You can't really hate the guy. Even if you're the most anti-gun person on earth, Burt still has a certain charm, even if you enjoy laughing at him. Personally, I find his character hilarious. And one of the other things that's interesting about Burt is he's also very technically savvy. For example, he and his wife, played by Reba McEntire, are on top of their house defending themselves against these subterranean worm creatures, and they're debating on which guns they should use. Do we want penetration or firepower? A large capacity magazine gun, or something with only a couple of rounds that'll go a long way? And they're having these little technical debates, which, even though it's a hint of technically oriented comic relief, it's actually exactly the kind of conversation I could see these people having under this circumstance. It's probably the one I'd be having. Now, none of us, by the way, the creatures in this movie are called graboids, and none of my firearms training in the past has ever taught me how to deal with supernatural beings or monsters like the graboids. I have to get all that from television shows. But it's a fun movie, and if you're a gun buff, you're really going to enjoy the wide variety of firearms that are different in every show. In one episode where they actually go back to the Old West, he actually gets one of those old punt guns. And the whole thing has this interesting mix of complete fantasy with actual scientific fact. In other words, technical fact on guns combined with the imagination of a science fiction writer. It's a really nice little blend, and the people went out of their way to try to get certain things right. So even if they were trying to portray Burt as some sort of cliche, they did their homework and made him a technically accurate and believable cliche. Okay, a little over the top, but that's why it's fun. A lot of people I know who are in the shooting sports find Burt Gummer one of their favorite characters in media. So, to Michael Gross, good job on portraying Burt, and we hope to see Tremors 6. This is Max with Fun with Guns. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.